Moving to Europe in just 1 month is now possible. And you don't have just one country, you have multiple countries lined up for you, helping you move there quickly, offering you super fast track processing and making your life easier. So, if you want new year, new country, and if you look forward to moving abroad in the next 30 days, then today's video is for you. Stick around. Hello, namaste. My name is Nidhi Nagori and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much for doing so. If you are a regular viewer, then thank you for spending time with me yet again. My name is Nidhi. I am a finance professional, a digital creator, and also the CEO and founder of Globology. At Globology, our mission is very simple. Anyone, anywhere in the world should be able to move abroad. And to help your moving abroad dreams come true, we offer a variety of custom solutions like direct job placement, job support service, underrated pathways like opportunity card, job seeker visas, permanent residencies, business PR migration, master classes, and more. If you want support in your moving abroad journey, we're always here to be your partner. More information about the work that we do is in the description box and in the pinned comments, so make sure to check it out. And for now, let's talk about moving to Europe in just 1 month. So today's country of choice is Sweden. Sweden has cut down their processing time from 90 days to 30 days for EU Blue Card, intra-corporate transfers, and researchers. Now keep in mind, Sweden is not the only country to do so. In the recent past, we've seen Estonia cut down their processing time. We've also seen Ireland, Denmark, Finland, and many other European countries joining this bandwagon. Seems like it's quite a thing to do in Europe right now to offer quick processing. But keep in mind that this quick processing is only being offered for certain permits. Of course, the most coveted of that being the EU Blue Card, which allows you to work not in one but 25 out of the 27 EU countries. So that's the visa that everybody aims for. And Sweden has cut down its processing time for the EU Blue Card. So if you are a highly skilled migrant, you qualify for this pathway and you could be moving to Europe in just 1 month. But how do you get started? Well, I'm going to help you today. I'm going to segment this video into 2 parts. In the first part, we'll discuss about all the major changes and what all you need to target. And in the second part, we're going to talk about how can you go about looking for jobs, or what is that one special pathway, the underrated pathway that I would recommend to you, depending on your location, nationality, etc. First, we're going to talk about all the major changes. So the first big change that we saw was Sweden cutting down its processing time, but they also lowered their income requirements to make it easier for Swedish businesses to hire foreign workers. Currently, like many other European and developed countries, Sweden is facing massive labor shortages. The labor shortages are expected in more than 40 occupations as of today, and that's why this need to hire foreign workers so quickly and suddenly. In terms of the occupations that are seeing the highest amount of demand, it is pretty much similar to any other European country that you would expect. So it is all the corporate roles, it's healthcare, education, also a lot of trades. So quite a few similarities in terms of what's in demand. And with that, we're done with segment number 1. So let's focus on segment number 2, which is how is it that you can move abroad? I'm going to offer you 2 pathways. The first is going to be a job search, and the second is going to be an underrated pathway. Let's roll into that. So I'm going to show you a total of 6 websites that you should use. And I'm also going to show you one website that I don't think you should use. I feel like it's more of a scam. So let's go on. The first one is this englishjobs.se. This is the one that I think is a scam because I tried going and doing research on LinkedIn. This company doesn't really exist on LinkedIn. They only have 1 or 2 employees. That too are based out of Africa, so that didn't make sense to me. It does not seem to have a lot of information. I wasn't able to find their registration, etc. So this is the website that I would definitely avoid. I'm going to flash the link on the screen and then also put like 2 X's so you understand that this is the website that you must avoid. In terms of which websites can you use, so let's get started. The first one that I like is English Jobs in Sweden. They list jobs by county, they list jobs by city, Stockholm, Malmö, Uppsala, and Gothenburg here. So these are the big cities in Sweden that we generally see people moving to. You can see that they push almost 6,000 jobs every day. And if you want, you can start off with searching by the city itself. So here it is. There are about 1,878 English-speaking jobs in Stockholm right now. Just in case you feel that a job is not English, you can also report so that they are able to fix their own algorithm. I think it's a pretty cool feature. And then if you feel like you are in a particular field, like a finance kind of a role, you can always look for it. and see if there is anything that's available for you. So I do see some opportunities that are available, and then this will take you to an external link, which is where you have to do your application. Now, this is just finance jobs in Stockholm. You can actually go back and do a similar search in anywhere else. So if you want to do finance overall in Sweden, then there are about 600 finance jobs just in Sweden that you can take up and apply to. You do want to make sure that you're applying to relevant jobs, and by relevant jobs, I mean it must have more than a 60 to 70% match with your profile. Of course, finding an exact match, which a lot of people tell us like they want to find an exact match, that is difficult to do because roles change based on country, industry, location, etc. So you're not going to find a replica of what you're doing right now in your home country in another country. That's why it's always important that you look for a match, but of course you need a 60 to 70% match. So this is the first website. Again, links are going to be up on the screen. Make sure you keep taking screenshots. After this, you can go on and look for jobs in Stockholm.com. This is another website that we like. This has almost 5774 jobs. Of course, this has a city. That's why the jobs seem to be only 5,000. But if you remove that, in Sweden itself, they have about 13,000 jobs. And then similar to what we saw, again, same thing. You'll be redirected to another job portal. You'll have to sign up and apply to those opportunities. Now, if you're done with this, then I would go on to the next one, which is local.se. This helps you search by location as well. I think this website doesn't work in all locations. Hopefully it works for all of you, but if it doesn't work, then I would suggest like looking for a VPN or something. The local, wherever it is in Europe, it tends to give you very directed information. Here you can look for jobs according to cities and also according to categories. So let's look at accountancy jobs. About 38 of those that currently exist on this particular website as well. So this is the third website that I recommend. Now, the fourth one is not really a website itself, but there are cities in Sweden that have like a moving to Stockholm or moving to Uppsala or moving to Malmö, that kind of a setup. So this is the Uppsala International Hub. It is meant for international candidates that either want to move to Uppsala or, seems like it's Uppsala. Apologies, I'm definitely not pronouncing anything apart from Stockholm and maybe even Stockholm wrong throughout this video. But anyway, you can see this is Uppsala International Hub. It's meant for people who are either moving to or are already in Uppsala looking for opportunities as an international talent. So this is finding a new job. How do you do that? While the first two are good, I think the Swedish Public Employment Agency is good and we'll talk about that. US, I would avoid, no point. There are a lot of recruitment and job sites that they recommend. I would go through those. If you see here, these recruitment sites have dedicated services for international applicants. So I would actually target academic work, Randstad, Manpower, Adecco first, and then move on to these ones above. Unfortunately, this particular local recruitment website doesn't seem to work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Check it out. The next website that I'll recommend is the Visit Stockholm website. There's also a live and work section here. There's a lot of information about just working in Stockholm, networking, freelancing, finding a job. So a lot of information here that you can utilize and get access to if you want to find an opportunity in Stockholm. And the next suggestion that I have is a list by the city of Gothenburg, which is 16 companies that tend to hire international talent very regularly in that city. So let's look at that. So this is the careers at key players, and you can see it's written here. We present several of our partners who are key employers of skilled internationals in West Sweden. And then they have all the companies. It's AstraZeneca, Orube, Chalmers University, Hart Aerospace, Molenklink, Region Västra Götaland, RISE, SKF, Specsavers, University of Gothenburg, University West, Volvo Group, and also Zika Technology Europe. Again, go to their career portals, see what kind of opportunities are available, and if you find a relevant role, go ahead and apply. Other options. The pathway number 2 that I want to recommend is to move without any sponsorship. That is through a Swedish job seeker visa. Now, this pathway might not work for everyone. The first one definitely works for everyone, but this one, depending on where you live, it might be a little longer before you get this visa itself. So if you're living in India, the current wait times are over a year. If you're living in US, Canada, or anywhere else in Europe, the current wait times tend to be shorter. In Canada, we've been able to get appointments for in as little as 3 months as well. So depending on where you live, this pathway could mean different timelines to each of you. But let's look at the pathway together. So this is the migration website of Sweden. Just a quick reminder that I always recommend people to take immigration information from government websites only. These are also the websites that I try to refer to myself, but just in case you're ever confused or want directed information, always, whichever country you're looking at, look at their immigration website. So this is the Migrations Sverket website that Sweden has. And this is, you can see, residence permit for highly qualified persons to look for or start a business. Now, this permit may be granted for a minimum of 3 months and 9 months, so anywhere between 3 to 9 months. If you're somebody who has studied in Sweden and wants to seek employment, there's a separate website for you. This is where you have to click. This is not meant for people who've studied in Sweden. It's meant for complete foreigners who have no relationship to Sweden. So if you want to get a residence permit, you must first have an advanced level of degree, which is 120 hours. They've also put it here, 120 credit master's degree or PhD or something like that. And then you must want to look for a job when you're in Sweden, and then you must have enough financial savings to support yourself, along with a health insurance that's valid and a valid passport, and you must be located outside of Sweden currently. So these are the requirements, and here is where you can go ahead and apply. But again, depending on where you apply from, it doesn't depend on your nationality. It really depends on where you're applying from and what's the volume of applications that's being processed from that particular center, that particular embassy, or that particular consulate. Nonetheless, I would recommend that you keep the search going by looking at all the websites that we discussed today. Keep your job search going. If the job seeker visa works out, well, great, depending on where you live again. But if you live in Europe, or if you're already in Canada, US, Latin America, you probably are better off by getting a job seeker visa first, making a move, and then taking your chances. And lastly, I want to answer a quick question that I tend to get a lot of times, which is, there are so many jobs, but I'm not getting hired. Just want to reiterate that we're seeing a massive gap between the employer's expectation and the skills that we're seeing. The need truly is for either unskilled workers or highly skilled workers. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of sponsorship happening for people in the center, people that tend to be more average. So if you're looking for a direct job, I would suggest, an unskilled job to get your way in, like a direct job placement, which thankfully we offer, or make sure that you're a highly skilled worker that has enough opportunities outside and would be easy for you to get sponsorship. If you're in between, if you think you're more on the average side of the population, then I would recommend that you look at education or upskilling yourself to become a highly skilled professional. So I hope I have answered one of the most frequently asked questions. Now, if you have any questions after this, please let me know in the comments below. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. We try to do that as a team. Of course, we don't always do a great job at it, but we're trying and we're hoping to get better. If you want us to cover any particular country, let us know that as well. And if you have any suggestions for us as a company, please put that down as well. Lastly, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I keep coming up with such amazing content every so often. Promise to see you in the next video. Until I see you again, please make sure you take care of yourself. Stay safe. Namaste.